Hey everybody, today I want to go over the filtration for the 1100 gallon. To start, we know that it's an overhead sump, obviously, but where are the pumps? I didn't want to be able to see the pumps. That was a big part of this. The pumps are in the tank, but they are behind the front wall here, so you really can't see them. You can almost see a corner of that, and that's only because the fire eel moved that one. But you cannot see these, and that was my biggest thing. I didn't want to be able to see the pumps because I know how ugly that is with overhead sumps. So the pumps are there. Again, this one got moved by the fire eel because he likes to sit behind there. This was supposed to be tucked into the corner. It just doesn't seem to matter. If they want to move it over, that's fine with me. Yeah, I'm not feeding you, Pumbaa. So we have a pump here, and then the plumbing goes back underneath the Euro bracing, and then comes back to the right here, and then goes up to the sump. This is a clip from the first leak test on the left pump. I used 1 1/4 inch Schedule 80 PVC for all of the pump feed lines. That's without the spray bar. I tee off later on so I can go into filter socks, which you'll see coming up, but it gives you an idea. And we did this exact same thing on this other side. The pump is here, and we come up underneath the Euro bracing, and then to the left here, and then we go up and into the sump. Again, this kind of gives you a better view without water in it. This is right after I finished that pump plumbing. And I could not keep the controller there after all. That was a stupid thing thinking I could do, but the power cable gets in the way, so they are not mounted there. Would have been cool if I could mount it there, because I wish I had a cap for the end of the 4x4 to clean that up a little bit better. We did tee off that for the 300 gallon system, which I've went into in another video, but that's pretty simple. We just simply teed off that into the UV, and then it returns all the way to the other end of the 300. I don't love that because I'd like to pre-filter that water, but this has been working really well so far. So we have 2 returns that go into the back of the sump, as you can see. So let's get up there. So I got trusty step stool here so we can get up, and this is how I do maintenance on it too. I stand right on the tank. So we have 2 feed lines coming in from those pumps that drop directly down into 4 socks for mechanical filtration. So it's mechanically filtered. We have 1 divider in the tank. It's just a 2-chamber sump. 1 divider, and there's a piece of acrylic in that too as a divider. The water comes up over it. So when I was setting the tank up, it was important to cycle it as quickly as possible. So I used tons of bioballs from other tanks that I had cycled for a long time, running on other tanks. That's layers of bioballs. Underneath that is trays of ceramic rings, and they're big trays. They're pretty much a 1x1 tray, 12-inch by 12-inch trays full of ceramic rings, about 3 inches deep. So there's 2 of those in there. Those were established also. And then there's a bunch of established sponges, some big sponges I had, and some pot scrubbies that are all under these floating bioballs. And again, I just use those to jumpstart the cycle on this tank, and I'm gonna slowly take them out for other tanks as I set other things up. From that chamber, we go into the K3, which I have slowly added more and more K3 to this chamber. I didn't want these return lines that go back down into the tank to be up here for aesthetic reasons, and also because I wanted the flow to have some effect on moving debris around on the bottom of the tank. I didn't want stuff to settle on the bottom of the tank too much. I didn't want them to come down in the middle of the tank. But I needed the water to go the furthest distance. So what I did was I did PVC from those into the front of the tank, and that runs the length and then goes to the other one. So these two are connected, and in the middle pipe, middle PVC pipe, it's all slots cut so that the K3 can't go through. Those come down and into this chamber here, and that's all slots cut. So you see some of the K3 sticks to it. But the goal was to make water come through all this instead of just going right out up there. So that's why I had to do something to kind of channelize the water better. So from there, we come out into two 2-inch drains. They're like overflow drains, and they just drop water directly down back into the tank. I also wanted to show the existing hole at the top was a threaded 2-inch that I utilized for an emergency overflow, which is very important. So if the return ever clogged and the water level starts to rise, that 2-inch has no screen, nothing. It'll just drop back down into the tank. It has happened before. It's horrible because all of the K3 dumps into the tank, obviously. But that emergency overflow is necessary, and I don't want to take any chances of putting a screen on it if anything ever happened, and then that clogs too with K3, and then the whole thing starts overflowing. So that is worth showing in case anybody was wondering, but that's what that third return is to the tank. It's just an emergency overflow. That's pretty much it. That's a pretty simple system. Very effective. I have not had a single ammonia spike. That was a big jump. Actually, when I had 2 fish in it to start, was the only time I saw ammonia. It was like 2 days after adding 2 fish. That was for about a day or two with just those 2. I added more media, and then the ammonia reading went to 0. It's been 0 ever since. I've kept adding fish. Now this is about it. This is it for fish that I'll be adding for a long time. Those are big pumps too. They're 4,000 gallons per hour, and the turnover rate should be pretty high for this big of a system. That's pretty good. So yep, I hope that explains it. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask in the comments. So I want to thank you guys again for watching. I did want to mention really quick that I realize that the sump tank is not the ideal tank for this setup. I mentioned this in my build video for the big tank, that I got the tank for free, the sump tank for free, that is, and I was utilizing it for that reason. It was a way to save money. So that's worth mentioning. Ideally, in the future, I might end up building something either 10 foot, 2 foot by 2 foot, or 8 foot, 2 foot by 2 foot for a sump to replace this one. But for now, again, trying to save money, I took advantage of this free tank. It is very effective still and working just fine. So I just wanted to mention that again. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.